Good morning. Welcome to First Parish UU Medfield. Welcome to all who are streaming from home, and welcome to all who are visiting. We hope you'll stay for our social hour after the service. This congregation first gathered in 1651. The historic meeting house was built in 1789 on the unceded ancestral land of the Nipmuc. Welcome to this place. Here we search for truth and understanding. Here we celebrate life and contemplate its mysteries. Here we share healing and wholeness. So whoever you are, wherever you come from, whomever you love, we welcome you to this congregation.
We Summon Ourselves by Gordon McKeeman. We summon ourselves from the demands and delights of the daily round, from the dirty dishes and unwaxed floors, from unmowed grass and untrimmed bushes, from all incompleteness and not yet startedness, from the unholy and the unresolved. We summon ourselves to attend to our vision of peace and justice, of strength and health, of delight and devotion, of the lovely and the holy, of who we are and what we can do. We summon the power of tradition and the exhilaration of newness, the wisdom of the ages and the knowing of the very young. We summon beauty, eloquence, poetry, and music to be the bearers of our dreams. We would open our eyes, our ears, our minds, our hearts to the amplest dimensions of life. We rejoice in manifold promises and possibilities.
Hi, I'm Bill Wyans. I am delighted to be leading this year's edition of Poetry Sunday. And on this first day of fall, we have a suitably autumnal weather day. I'm not sure that all of the poetry is going to match the mood outside, but I'm looking forward to hearing the selections that you've prepared. Several of you are listed in the order of service. I'll have you come up in that order. Anyone who has brought poetry that is not listed, you are welcome to come up here as well. As our call to worship, I will read a very brief poem by the ancient Greek poet Simonides on poetry. Like the bee, she consorts with flowers to concoct her dream of a scented pollen-yellow honey. The word is the image of the thing. Poetry is painting that speaks. Painting is poetry that's silent. And now, as you are able, please rise to sing our opening hymn, number 39, Bring, O Morn, the Music. Let us now enter into a spirit of prayer and meditation as we enter into a time of silent meditation. All right. Now it is time for us to share our poetry and prose. I will lead off. I've got 3 poems by the ancient Greek poet Sappho, written to the woman she loved, Anactoria. They, by the way, you may know, lived on the island of Lesbos, and from which we get the term lesbian. Some men say it's the site of ramparts fronted by cavalry, other that it's a field of foot soldiers closing ranks. Still others claim that the heart thrills to no spectacle more than a fleet of warships churning the wine-dark waters white. I say instead, the presence of what you love is best. This is easy enough to understand. Even the far-famed milk-skinned Helen abandoned a worthy husband and without one thought for a child or doting parents, stole away in a deep-sea ship with the destroyer of Troy. And now that you are gone, Anactoria, I know that power. No, deep down, I would rather see your bare feet on these flagstones, your face reflected in a looking glass, than I would watch the man-killing chariots of Lydia or the sun-enameled armor of the hoplites in battle. In the same way, when the sun sets, the whey-colored moon appears and shadows the newly risen stars, and lights the acres of flowering corn, and prickles with dew the half-blown rose, the thin-necked meliot. So, too, even as she longs for Attis, Anactoria shines among Lydian women, her heart heavy with loss and desire. I know full well the hurt she feels, for her night cries trouble, that dividing sea. When you return from Crete, meet me at the apple grove, our little temple, its leafy altar incensed with the mineral scent of your soapy hair. And now we will continue with other poems. Louise? And I don't think it's necessary for me to call people up, so when you see your name in the order of service, please just come on up.
Good morning. I chose a poem by Billy Collins, and it's from The Rain in Portugal. And it's called Early Morning. I don't know which cat is responsible for destroying my voter registration card. So I decided to lecture the 2 of them on the sanctity of private property and the rules of nighttime comportment in general. And while I'm at it, the importance of voting in an enlightened citizenship. This is the way it was in school. No one would admit to winging a piece of chalk past the ear of Sister Mary Alice, as the whole class would have to stay after. And likewise in the Army, or at least in the movies involving the Army, all weekend privileges would be revoked until the man who snuck the women and the keg of beer into the barracks last night stepped forward. Of course, it's hard to get them to stay in one place, let alone hold their attention for more than 2 seconds. The black one turns tail, pads into the other room, and the kitten is kneading a soft throw like crazy, pathetically searching for a nipple. Meanwhile, it's overcast, not pewter or anything like that, just overcast, period. I haven't had a sip of coffee yet. You know, when I told that interviewer early morning was my favorite time to write, I was not thinking of this particular morning. I must have had another kind of morning in mind, one featuring a a Pinot Noir, some oranges, and sunlight. But now there's nothing else to do but open the back door crack for the black one, who enjoys hunting and killing lizards while blocking the kid in with 1 foot, the little cottontail expletive deleted, who's still too young to go out.
Good morning. I'm Mary Corthell, and I chose to read a poem by Joy Harjo. Joy is the first Native American U.S. Poet Laureate, and she served 3 consecutive terms from 2019 to 2022, and she has personally touched my heart. The poem is Eagle Poem. To pray, you open your whole self to sky, to earth, to sun, to moon, to one whole voice that is you. And know there is more that you can't see, can't hear, can't know, except in moments steadily growing and in languages that aren't always sound, but other circles of motion. Like eagle that Sunday morning over Salt River, circled in blue sky, in wind swept our hearts clean with sacred wings. We see you, we see each other, and know that we must take the utmost care and kindness in all things. Breathe in, knowing we are made of all this, and breathe knowing we are truly blessed because we were born and die soon within a true circle of motion. Like eagle rounding out the morning inside us, we pray that it will be done in beauty, in beauty.
I have a couple of very short poems by Mary Oliver. And the first one is entitled, We Shake with Joy. We shake with joy, we shake with grief. What a time they have, those two, housed as they are in the same body. And the second one is entitled, I Go Down to the Shore. I go down to the shore in the morning, and depending on the hour, the waves are rolling in or moving out, and I say, oh, I'm miserable. What should I do? And the sea says in its lovely voice, excuse me, I have work to do.
I believe this is by Erin Hansen, but you can't believe everything on the internet, so that's where I found it. So, you may not believe in magic, but don't you think it's strange the amount of matter in our universe has never slightly changed? That all which makes your body was once part of something more, and every breath you ever breathe has seen it all before. There are countless scores of beauty in all the things that you despise. It could once have been a shooting star that now makes up your thighs, and atoms of forgotten life who've long since ceased to roam may now have had the great honor to call your crooked smile their home. You may not believe in magic, but I thought that you should know the makings of your heart were born 14 billion years ago. So next time you feel lonely, when this world makes you feel small, just remember that it's part of you and you're part of it all.
At one of the first Poetry Sundays, we reached a point like this, and I asked those in attendance if anyone else had a poem they would like to read, and someone got up and recited 2 off-color limericks. With that exception, are there any other poems you would like to share? David Temple. And John, Is there anyone online? Okay, go ahead, David.
I wasn't going to do this, but Louise made me do it. This is a short one by Billy Collins called No Time. In a rush this weekday morning, I tap the horn as I speed past the cemetery where my parents are buried, side by side under a smooth slab of granite. Then all day long, I think of him rising up to give me that look of knowing disapproval, while my mother calmly tells him to sit back down.
Are there any other poems? All right, well, thank you all. I think at this point, I will ask Mary Cortell to come and introduce the offertory.
So, in the circles of the motions that keep First Parish moving through the centuries and through the now, we invite everyone to give to the church at this time.
And now please rise as you are able and join us in hymn number 108, My Life Flows On in Endless Streams.
I hear the real, the far
The benediction for today, also by Simonides, on beauty. As the ancient stories tell us, invisible to mortal men, beauty dwells among the high-capped rocks near a wind gap arduous to climb, and you must almost wear your heart out in the struggle required to attain its height. I will now extinguish our chalice. May its light and warmth stay in our hearts until we meet again.